Shalom, welcome to 6 by 6. 6 days a week, 6 minutes a day, and we get an idea, a beautiful lesson from the Lubavitcher Rebbe from his Likutei Sichos Sefer. So what we're talking about is that there's 2,000 years of exile, 100 years since the previous Rebbe, and ultimately, that we have to say that even though I appreciate that it was such a hard exile, I don't degrade it at all. It's a Holocaust or crusades. The Jewish people went through terrible, terrible times for the last few thousand years, but still the inner idea is that we should finally come to the redemption. And that is the idea really for us in our personal lives also. Everybody has issues, everybody has problems in one way or the other, but we have to focus on the inner idea, trying to make us a better person, a better Jewish person, no matter what we're doing, and doing the Torah and the mitzvahs. And that's a little bit of a story from Reb Zusha Napoli that one chassid said to the big Rebbe, was the Mizritcher Magid, the preacher from Mizrich, and he said that, how can you be happy with Yisurim? How can you be happy, it says, that even those afflictions, is really what we were talking about also, even though there's afflictions, a very high spiritual level, that you understand that ultimately, no matter what, everything is for the good. So he says, well, you know who you should talk to? One of my other students from Zusha, from Anapoli, in the Ukraine. And in any case, he traveled there, and he saw that this Reb Zusha, he asked, where's the nice house? He's the rabbi in a town. And he says, well, he's in the outskirts. In the outskirts? All right, he went over there, and he saw it was the dilapidated house. This is a house from the great Reb Zusha Napoli? He says, yeah. So he says he goes in and he sees it's terrible, terrible poverty. And he just says he goes in, knocks on the door, comes in, and he's teaching the children. And he says that the bench they used for the piece of wood that they were using was using as a table for them afterwards. Literally no furniture, very, very poor. The walls were like dark, meaning that they had mold on them. A dilapidated, old house. So he says, well, he really does have it bad, doesn't he, over here, he says to himself. And then he says, well, Reb Zusha says, what can I do for you? And he says, well, our teacher, meaning the Rebbe, the Mizritcher Magid, said that, I was in a quandary. How can you be happy through having afflictions and problems in your life? And he sent me to you, so I'm here to learn from you. And the Reb Zusha, I don't understand this at all. He says, I don't know why the Rebbe sent you to me. He says, I don't have any problems. That's the end of the story. What does that mean, you don't have any problems? Your dilapidated house, you're so poor. A person should be, oy vey, and oy vey, poor me, poor me. And instead, he says, I don't have any problems. Because he understood the inner idea of what's supposed to happen. First of all, it's not everything in this physical world. We have to focus on the spiritual world. For example, even in the Holocaust, the 6 million Jews, terrible, terrible, terrible afflictions. On the other hand, if you look on the spiritual side of things, that all 6 million Jews go straight to heaven no matter what they did or how they did it, because the Rambam says when someone dies just because they're a Jew, which means the sanctification of God's name, then they go straight to heaven, no matter what. It's not like there's a law, a judgment, or who are you, what did you do, what did you accomplish in the world? You go straight to heaven. So spiritually, they're well off, to say the least. They're sitting in the Garden of Eden, having the revelations of godliness shine on them. Physically, obviously, it was a terrible torture. So again, we're not at the level, this is a very tzaddik of being a righteous person, but a little bit we can incorporate that into our lives. It's very important for us to understand that we have to just focus on the spiritualness, and sometimes a lesson to make us a better person, a better Jewish person. But the main thing is that we said before, the inner idea is that Everything we do, we should bring the Mashiach and the Messiah closer to our lives, and then everything will be good. As the Rambam tells us clear as a bell, the Maimonides, there'll be peace and prosperity, and there won't be any more jealousy, no more wars. And therefore we'll see how everything ultimately is for the good. We'll see it with our own eyes and without philosophizing and theorizing of what's happening. We'll see the good in a revealed sense. Thank you very much.